And I will just go ahead and introduce Josh and we'll get started. Josh King is a managing partner at Tinderbox Marketing. He is a recognized marketing expert with a diverse background in digital media and corporate marketing. He started Tinderbox Marketing in 2013 to offer his expertise to clients looking to improve their marketing and online presence. Josh takes a hands-on practical approach to workshops and presentations. Simply put, Josh lives out the Tinderbox marketing mission of doing his best to serve others and to leave them in better shape than he found them. I will just give a short testimonial for Tinderbox and for Josh. Bernardo Wills has been working with him for just a year. I was checking my emails. We contacted him on like the 23rd of July in 2019. I had heard him speak at a presentation very much like this one, and I was drawn to his personality and to his expertise and his obvious enthusiasm for what he did. And his website offers a free marketing review, and so I said to myself, "Ooh, free, hey, why not?" And so he looked through all of our social media sites and kind of checked our online presence and came back with 3 or 4 really key things that we could do to improve our presence. With his help, we've got some clear strategies for our social media. We have a firm mission statement now. We've formalized a marketing plan, and I have to tell you, the results have been kind of stunning. We have 5 times the social media audience that we had a year ago. We have a monthly email newsletter that goes to more than 1,000 people, and we have had to reset our social media goals for 2020 twice already this year because we just keep blasting through them. And more importantly, we're getting more opportunities. We're getting calls. We have had a lot of clients say, "Oh, we see you all over social media now," and so we're starting to bear some fruit. We're getting some calls. So with no further ado, I am going to turn hosting over to Josh, and we will get started. Oh, now I've lost Josh on my list. Sorry. Here we are. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, I guess. I think we should all be in the afternoon, even if you're on the East Coast. Unless you're in Hawaii, right? You would be good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here. I love talking about social media and marketing. I love talking about business development. LinkedIn is something that I'm a lot more passionate about recently because I'm seeing it bear a lot of fruit, specifically in the business to business world. Professionals that are using, LinkedIn to connect with other professionals, strategic partners, to even do some lead generation. I'm seeing a lot of things that are going really well for people. And then I'm also seeing some things that maybe aren't going as well. So I would love to walk you through some of those things today, and that's going to be the goal. Before we get started, one of the things that I've done in some of the workshops, I've been doing some workshops via Zoom and Facebook live stream the past few months to support people who are now at home and to support the businesses that might be struggling as a result of COVID-19. And one of the stories that stands out to me during this time is actually the story of Post and Kellogg's. During the 1920s, you may not know this, but in the 1920s, Post cereal was actually the category leader in the ready-to-eat cereal category. Ready-to-eat cereal was a relatively new concept. We totally get what ready-to-eat cereal is. In fact, my kids have been enjoying Frosted Flakes for the first time. I find that funny. During the Great Depression, though, with this new category, Post decided to cut back on their advertising budget and their marketing, while their rival Kellogg's doubled their advertising spend. They invested heavily in radio, and they introduced one of their new cereals called Rice Krispies, featuring, we all know it, Snap, Crackle, and Pop. During that time, during the Depression, Kellogg's profits grew by 30%, and the company became the category leader. And that's a position that they've maintained for decades. In fact, I think now you can still see that Kellogg's is a category leader. I don't know what the percentages are, and Post has never gained back that ground. So while your first reaction during times like this might be, or your firm's reaction might be to pull back, the opposite is actually true. And there's a lot of case studies beyond just Post and Kellogg's that talks about that. When it comes to marketing specifically and how LinkedIn fits into that, that's what we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about. Gretchen, as I was getting ready for this, asked me if I was planning on doing a deck, and I'm not. And her bio for me teed this up perfectly. And that is, I love the hands-on approach. So if I were you, I would pull up LinkedIn and I would have LinkedIn open. And if you have two monitors, maybe have my screen on one monitor and LinkedIn on the other monitor. If you're on one screen, maybe just do them side by side. But the idea is I'm going to walk you through some things. I have an agenda that I will follow to try to do this in an order by order fashion and a step by step. But I want to walk you through some of the things that I see as being either missteps or mistakes that people make and some ways that you can avoid those. When you think about social media and LinkedIn specifically, when it comes to executing it correctly from a marketing standpoint, it's like building a house, and you have to have a good foundation before you can do anything else on your house. And social media is the same way, whether you're talking about Facebook or LinkedIn or even Twitter or any of the other platforms out there. If you don't build them right from the very beginning, it's very possible that it's going to do you more harm than good, or you're just operating with one, if not two hands tied behind your back. So I'm going to jump in and go live. I'll share my screen. I'll show you my LinkedIn and we'll walk through some things. I want to encourage you again to use the chat. I'm monitoring it right now. So if you have anything you want to say, just make sure you click it on to everyone. So you send the chat out and we'll all see your question. You can also just chat me privately if you want. You can do that too. Ask your questions as we go along. And like Gretchen said, we are recording this to make it available to you following this workshop. So I will share my screen and we'll get going. So if you've never seen LinkedIn before, boy, are you in the right spot. And if you have, that's cool too. But this is what LinkedIn looks like if you've never seen it before and if you've never logged in. Now, LinkedIn is a little different than some of the other social media platforms in as much that there is a paid option. So you can sign in and sign up for free. You don't ever have to pay a penny at all for a company page or a personal page. Just know that there is a pro option. Pro is probably something to consider if you're looking for a new job, or if you're a really aggressive business development person, or if you're looking to post jobs. Those are the places where you might look to do that. I don't have a paid account. I've had a free account forever. I don't see any reason to have a paid account. So just know that. When I want to point out some things that you see right here, the things that make LinkedIn stand out are the three buttons there in the middle, which says search for a job, find a person you know, or learn a new skill. And you can change the search for a job to also fill a job. But LinkedIn is powerful because it's considered a recruiting tool and a job tool. So if you're searching for a job or looking to fill a job, it's a powerful tool for that. It's also powerful to connect with people that you know professionally. And I always say that if you think about social media in this way, it helps draw a picture. Twitter tends to be like the front yard of social media, where you can connect with people in your front yard that maybe you wouldn't invite into your home. You'll say things out in your front yard that are public. It's very public-facing social media platform. Facebook tends to be the living room. Facebook tends to be the place that you connect with people that you would invite into your home, people that you have maybe a closer relationship with. And then LinkedIn is the water cooler. LinkedIn is the place where you connect with people that you know professionally. Maybe you don't know them personally very well, but you know them professionally. So that is important to keep in mind. It's okay to connect. Like if you want to send me a request on LinkedIn today, I will probably accept it as long as you let me know that you're in the workshop. And hey, I'm in your workshop right now. And that would be actually a really great example if you decide to search me out. So just know that it's okay to connect with people that maybe you don't have a close personal relationship with, but you have a professional relationship with on some level. The other thing to think about LinkedIn is that people tend to not post hyper-personal content. It tends to be content that's more in the business space, and it can be category specific. So if we're talking about architecture, it's okay to post that kind of content from a professional perspective. So just know that it operates and works a little bit differently. Like I said, if you click join now, it's free. You can agree and enjoy it. You can also sign in with Facebook. That's up to you. Creates a single sign-on where all you have to do is sign into Facebook, and then you can log into your LinkedIn account. I'll go ahead and log into my account. Hopefully. There we go. My fingerprint identification on my laptop was not wanting to work. Okay. So the first thing to do when you get used to LinkedIn is to get familiar with the layout if you're not familiar with it. And it can be a little overwhelming, and social media tends to be like that, where at first glance it can be a little overwhelming. So we're just going to take a few seconds here to talk about the overall layout. What you're looking at here and what you see when you log in is the internal piece of LinkedIn. This is what's customized for you. So the content here in the middle where you can see Gary Stokes commented on something, this is a news feed for me, and this is based on the connections that I have, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Over here on the left is a little profile teaser. It gives me a little bit of a rundown on what to expect from my own personal profile. This top part up here is an ad. By the way, we don't talk a lot about ads today, but if you were interested in LinkedIn ads, these are crazy cheap. Like you can get tens of thousands of impressions for a few dollars because the odds of somebody clicking on them are so small. So your conversion rates are really small, but you get a lot of impressions. Here on the right is just sort of a what's trending area. And then this other content's all kind of personalized to me. You'll see the same boxes, but it just might be filled with different content. And then along the top here, this darker bar, this darker grayish bluish bar is your navigation bar, and that should always be there, and you should always see that, and that's kind of to get you back to where you want to go. So to start with what we're trying to focus on today, I want you to get to your profile. So you can get to your profile in a few ways. You can click to it here on the left. You can also click to it by clicking the me and get to view profile. So however you get there, let's navigate to your profile, and then we're going to talk about what we see here. So the things that I see people miss a lot are, the first one is not having a headshot. This is not the place for that car cell phone selfie. That's not what this is for. It's not for the bathroom selfie. It's not for any selfie. Like if selfie is the way to categorize or describe the picture that you plan on uploading here, it's probably not the picture to use. You do want to use a headshot here. Doesn't mean you have to rush out and spend a bunch of money to get headshots, but maybe just hand your phone to somebody else and have them take the picture. That's a good place to start. You can see mine's just on a kind of a roughed up background in the building that I used to work out of. I will be there someday, hopefully again. So it wasn't crazy. A friend of mine took the picture. It took me less than an hour to get a handful of pictures that I could use. So that's your profile picture. Remember, headshot there. To upload your picture, just click on it and then you'll hit upload, right? You can hit change photo. You can now do some things where you can zoom in or zoom out. You can straighten the picture, and LinkedIn actually took the liberty of doing that for me. It said, hey, we think this is a little crooked, and they did it. You can now even add a filter if you want, if you're not happy with the color. So just like you can on Instagram, you can do some things to change it. And then you can also manually adjust it if you wanted to. So take a minute while we're sitting here, make sure your picture is the one you want. Here's the other thing. If your picture is, let's say, more than 5 years old, it's probably time to update it. And here's the biggest thing is, if you think that somebody that you meet on LinkedIn and then meet in person isn't thinking to themselves, you look different than you look on your LinkedIn profile, you're mistaken. The way you represent yourself in the digital space is how people expect you to look in real life. So try to have somewhat of an updated picture. And I'll tell you right now, I was my own worst customer when it came to this thing for a long time. I've had a beard now full time for, I think, 4 years, maybe 3. And for 2 years into having a beard, all of my profile pictures were me without a beard. And so finally I was doing a workshop similar to this, and somebody pointed out, they said, you know, you're talking all about having headshots and doing all this stuff, and you don't have a picture of you with a beard. And that prompted me to go out and take a picture of me with a beard. So make sure it's current, make sure it's something that's more professional than just that car selfie, and make sure that it's an accurate representation of you. And I could pick on some people here, and I won't, but I just met with a potential client last week who contacted me through LinkedIn. She's a prolific LinkedIn user. She has a huge network on LinkedIn. And the picture that she has is crazy unclear on whether it's her, there's 3 people in the picture that she has for her profile picture, and it's sort of unclear which one is her. and there's no other, like, there's no other picture, there's nothing, and it's really blurry, and it's not a good representation. So the digital space is that place where we need to kind of take our real world self and put us in the digital. Think of like the Matrix, when Neo goes from not having hair to having hair when he's in the Matrix. And I know this is sort of a deep dive into the Matrix, but they said it's your mind's representation of yourself. So if you remember that movie, think about digital as the representation of your real world self. All right, enough of that. So that cover photo here in the background is another one. And this one, if it looks like, let's pick on somebody who sent me a request. Let's see if Cindy has a good one. Maybe Carol. Okay, so Carol, I'm sorry, but you won the lottery today. So Carol, pretty decent headshot here, but if you see this background here that looks like a constellation, that is the default cover photo. This is a place where you can customize that and change it, and you should. Now, I own my own business, so if we double back to mine, you'll see that mine is a brand photo. So my business is Tinderbox Marketing. And what that is, Tinderbox is a way to start a fire. So of course I have all these images of campfires and coals and things like that. So mine's a brand image. You can have something custom designed here. You could use a tool like Canva, canva.com. I'll put that in the chat right now. Canva.com is graphic design for people who don't know how to do graphic design. You could use a tool like Canva to create something custom for that. The point being, you need to have that, and you need to have that set up appropriately, and you're going to have to play around with it. If you look at it, it is kind of a unique size, and you can see here, I can zoom in, same with my other photo, and you can drag it around to get the best spot. But if you are doing a designed graphic, just make sure it fits, right? Because it is a tricky spot. If you're not too worried about connecting your personal profile to your business profile, maybe other than your work section, then pick something else that's about you. And this would be a place to get a little bit more personal. Maybe a picture of you riding a mountain bike or hiking, or a picture of you sitting on the back porch. That would probably be okay. Just try not to make it too hyper personal. Same thing to upload it. This one, you'll actually click the pencil. So keep in mind, this doesn't tell me how to upload my picture. I just knew to click on it, right? And this one does have the little edit pencil. The other thing that you could do is click the edit pencil here, and then now you can actually change your cover photo or your profile picture from here as well. All right, so moving through the anatomy of your bio or your profile, you have your cover photo, your profile picture, your name, and then you have this section here, which is your tagline. And if you don't set this, LinkedIn will set it for you. So let's pick a new victim. So Christopher, we're gonna pick on you right now. He is in the workshop. So Christopher did a good job. Christopher looks like he customized this. So this is something that he has customized and written for himself. I wanna pick on somebody else, see if anybody else out. And look, we'll also pause here for a minute. He had a personal picture there in the background. So good example. Maybe he just did that. Maybe he's following along and he just did that. Melinda, let's see what Melinda has. So she has what's kind of considered the default. So office manager, HR accountant at Steinberg Design Collaborative. So what she could do, and that is a direct pull. So that's pulling from this job listing here. So what Melinda could do is she could customize that to be maybe more action-oriented, like career specialist at, or helping people find their dream job, or making our team, flow smoothly or work together smoothly. So you can create something a little bit more personalized with that. So heading back to your profile, you'll hit the edit pencil here, and then you'll get to change your headline right there. So I chose my mission for the business that I operate. You could decide to do whatever you want. You could leave it the default if you want it. Just know the point being that this is something that you can customize. Then you have the opportunity to pick your current position. And the reason why this is relevant is because in some cases you might have more than one job. I mean, it's 2020. A lot of people have side gigs and side hustles. Some people are working 2 jobs. They're working 1 full-time, and then they're doing a part-time gig that they can do remotely or whatever. So this is a place where you can tell LinkedIn which job to highlight. So I picked my current position. The reason why this is also relevant is I was actually doing some contract work in the first years of owning my business. And it was for a company where I did a lot of training just like this. And our biggest client was the ACT test. So if you're familiar with going to college and taking the SAT or the ACT. And so what I was doing was providing training for their entire team. And it was all webinar based. So I was doing it remotely and people would log in and pick their time and I would run the training. So in order to make it seem like I was a more functioning member of the company that I was doing contract work for, I added that as a work history. But I was also running my own business. So both options were available for me to put as a current position. So what I did just to maintain consistency is I actually changed it to be the company that I was contracting for, so that when I was doing these examples and walking through people at the ACT test, I wasn't throwing them off. So that would be a reason to consider it. So just something to know that you can customize that by changing your current position. The other thing you can do through here is show, pick some options, show your education, and in your intro, you can pick your country and your region and your postal code. You can change your industry. You can also add a bunch of contact information. So you can add your website, you can add a phone number or your physical address. You can connect it to your Twitter. You can even add your birthday. So lots of options there for you to think about when it comes to customizing your profile. Keep the questions coming if you have them. Well, keep them coming. We haven't broken that seal yet. So be the first to ask a question and feel free to keep asking along the way. All right, so we head back. Okay, the other thing to look at when it comes to your profile, right here it says open to work, and this is a ProFinder thing, and we will talk about ProFinder. But down here is your bio. And I know that this is one of those tricky things. It's really tricky to write about yourself, and I totally get that. So rest easy. Know that I didn't write 3 paragraphs about myself. I don't think I would be capable of doing that. I actually had somebody write this for me. It was actually the company. It started with the company that I was doing contract work for. I needed to have a bio. They had somebody write one up for me. And just over the years, I've made small tweaks to it. I just personally and professionally prefer this to be written in the third person, and here's why. If you get invited to do a speaking engagement or you get invited to present on a panel or anything like that, it's a copy and paste job. So if Gretchen didn't want to hassle me to ask me for a bio for today, she could have gone to my profile, which she probably did, and just copy my bio out. It's already written in the third person. No one has to change anything. So I know it's a little weird that you're having a third person thing put there, but if you were an author or a professional public speaker, that wouldn't matter to you at all. That's how it would be written. Oh, I got a question. So when you change your background pic, does it notify everyone in your network? No, it does not. It does on Facebook, but not on LinkedIn. So it's not going to update everybody that you did that. So LinkedIn works differently than some of the other social media sites like that. So any changes that you make, the only time LinkedIn's going to send a notification like that to your network is if you change jobs. So even if you change job title on a current position, it's going to send a notification. So if you're cleaning up your thing today and you decide to add a more accurate job title, just know that it's probably going to alert everybody, and you're going to get a lot of people saying congrats on the new thing. And you'll just have to say, hey, I just was cleaning up my profile. So that's the only time they do that. All right. We'll hit discard. Okay. So the other things to think about as you're building out your profile is just know that, you have some things that are internal to you. So this is some featured stuff. These are some posts that I've done, some things that I've uploaded. You can do the same thing here if you want. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about that. The dashboard is private to you. This is just showing you sort of where you're at on LinkedIn, who's viewed your profile. This is another area where if you pay for it, you actually get all this information. So it tells me that 42 people have viewed my profile. And if I click on it, you'll see here where it starts trying to get me into premium. So, something to think about. So Kurt and Karen, can you turn off the notifications for job changes in your profile? Maybe. I'm going to write that one down and I'll double back and see if I can't answer that one a little later. Okay. I might have to Google that one. The other thing to look at once you get past that is this is your activity. So when you start posting, this is where your activity will show up. So if you write a status update or a post, new people connecting with you can go back and see your archive. So when they say what is on the internet stays on the internet, this is part of that reason. And then down here is your experience. And we're going to talk about this now for a few moments. You'll notice some things about my experience. Here's that one company that I was doing training for, so you can see it here. So I even said I was the director of training. I got to make that up. But you'll notice that this one, my current position has a logo. This one has a logo. This one has a logo, but then this one here doesn't. And I know it doesn't because this little gray box with the building is their default non-picture picture, right? So if the company doesn't have a profile, this is what shows up there. If the company has a profile but hasn't made any changes to it, this is the default picture, right? So it's sort of their default, you haven't uploaded a picture. When it comes to your personal profile, you want to make sure that you are connecting to the right company, especially if you're doing anything outbound, if you're doing marketing or business development, or you're doing anything. And there's an argument to be made that even if you're not in an active role in marketing or business development, you're still responsible for marketing and business development on some level for your organization. So just make sure you're connected to the right business here. And the way to do that, if you've already listed your current position with your current company, is to click the pencil here, and then you can start typing in the right business name. So if I was connected to Bernardo Wills, you can see here, it's pulling up some options as I type it, and I'm going to search for the one that's the accurate one. If your company does not have a company profile, when you type in the business name, it's either going to give you suggestions or you're just going to put whatever comes up. And this is something that we need to think about as we get into the second part of the training, is that your company is going to have a profile, whether they know it or not. If every employee at a firm, and say there's 25 employees, all say they work for the same company, it's starting to build a presence for that company on LinkedIn. And claiming it is the responsible thing to do, and we'll walk through how to do that. So just make sure that you're connected to the appropriate business, and then you can customize the description, and you can do a couple of other things. You can update your industry, update your headline. So this is where I could tell my headline to change to this work history, but I don't want to do that because I like my custom one. And then it looks like we got the answer to your question, Kurt and Karen. It says right here, do I want this to share with my network? Right? It says, if enabled, your network may be informed of job changes, education changes, and work anniversaries. So I can turn that off. So the answer is yes, you can. All right, I will X out of this. So make sure you're connected to your appropriate company and the right company profile. And then just to double back, you want to make sure you have a complete profile, right? Nice profile picture, good cover photo, get your headline dialed in, have a good bio written in the third person for your about, and then make sure your work history is abundant. Now, I will make an argument that no matter where you are in life, even if you're a partner all the way down to an intern, having a robust work history here does not hurt you. It only helps you. If things change in your life and you decide to apply for a job and you have a complete work history here on LinkedIn, it makes it really easy to apply for a job through LinkedIn. I've actually done it just for fun, just to see what would happen. And it's really easy. If you see a job listing that comes up on LinkedIn that you want to apply for, you can actually use your profile to apply for that job. You don't have to upload a resume. It's pretty cool. You can do your education, volunteer experience. You can do skills and endorsements was a feature that they used to really push. They don't really anymore, and same with recommendations. So these are cool things to have, but they're not really a huge emphasis anymore. And then down here, you've got interests, right? So those are some of the highlights when it comes to your personal profile. The other thing to think about when it comes to your network or your personal profile is your network. So you can see here that some responses have started to come in, and I'm getting alerts. Stacy, I will accept. Christopher, I will accept. Now, if I hit ignore, guess what? They don't know. They don't get a notification. They don't get an alert. It's no harm, no foul, right? So you can ignore them when you don't know them. And there's an argument to be made for both options, for only accepting people that you know or accepting everyone. And I fall somewhere in the middle, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute. So you can here on your network, whenever a red icon shows up, that means you have an alert there and you need to check it. Over here, it gives you kind of an update on what's going on, how many connections you have. Now, this number here is your contacts. What this is, these are not people that you're connected to. These are people whose email address you have in one of your databases, and I'll walk through that right now. So there's a few ways that you can grow your audience and grow your network on LinkedIn. And the first one is to manually add people in by searching. So for those of you that are following along who've sent a request, you manually found me. You went up to search, you typed my name in, you found the picture that looks like me. Thankfully, I have a pretty accurate photo and you can see my face through the webinar and you were able to add me. For those of you that that's a little bit too much work and you want to add more people faster than that, there is another option for you, and that is here under this contacts tab. So clicking your contacts, now what you can do is you can actually import contacts through an email address. So you'll hit add more contacts, and then down here, it gives you all your options for how you want to do this. You can do Gmail, you can use your Yahoo. Do people still use Yahoo? The answer is yes, because I just got an email from somebody yesterday from a Hotmail account. And I always say I'm not actually old, I'm internet old. My first email address was through Hotmail. So that is, and I remember doing AOL chat. So I might not be actually old, but I'm certainly internet old. All right, so if you want to add your network or your email, and I'm not sure if Zoom's gonna show you this pop-up that showed up, but basically if I click Gmail, it's gonna ask you what account do you wanna use. So for right now, I will check my personal account because I want you to see how this works. So right now I'm saying I'm giving LinkedIn permission to access my contacts through Gmail. And look at what it found. It found all these people that I have emailed or been emailed in a chain. So even if you've been in a group email, right, where somebody CC'd you and a bunch of other people, they're considered a contact to Gmail. So these are all those people. And I can tell you right now, I honestly don't know very many. I don't know that I know any of these people in the real world. So they're probably somehow we're connected through sports, kids sports, or something else to do with my personal email. So you can see it's going to pull up a lot. So what you would do once you connect your email is you'll look through this and say, okay, do I know any of these people in real life? And that's a decision you can make. Or you can say, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to add all these people. If you're going to add all these people, just know you're going to get a lot of ignorers, and that could be considered a little spammy. So just keep in mind what process you're going to go through to add people. My argument, and the argument that I make, is that you connect with people that you know and or at least have met in the real world. When I get invites from other people, I have a low barrier of entry for becoming a member of my network. And that is, you have to be willing to answer my question honestly, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But when it comes to this part where you're connecting to your email, I would say keep it to people that you know, right? So keep it to people that you've connected with in the real world somewhere, and that's gonna create a lot fewer problems for you, and it's gonna keep you on the up and up. So I don't know that I see anybody here that I feel like adding. Let's see. I'm really hoping for somebody, but it's shocking how many people that I've been on an email chain with that I don't actually know. Oh, I know Nathan. Okay, so here we've got this one. So you're going to go through and connect with all these people. Now keep in mind, these are people who you've been emailed with, or you've emailed, or they've emailed you, or you've been on a chain with them, and they have that email is tied to a LinkedIn account. Right? So that's this screen. So these are people whose emails are tied to a LinkedIn account. So I will hit add connection. Now I'm on step 2 of 2. This is the tricky one, and this is why I wanted to show you this. These are all the people who you have as an email contact, and that email is not tied to a LinkedIn account. And if it's not tied to a LinkedIn account, LinkedIn's saying, do you want to send them an invitation to join LinkedIn? Not necessarily the same thing as an invitation to connect with you. It is that you are sending them an invitation to connect with you, but more importantly, you need to know that you're sending them an invitation to join LinkedIn. Like, this is my dad. My dad is about to retire for the 2nd time. He's not going to create a LinkedIn profile. I'm not going to send my dad an invite to LinkedIn, nor an invite to connect with me. This step here also got LinkedIn into some trouble a few years ago in a class action lawsuit where people were, it was automatically selecting this for you. So you had to know to unselect this or deselect it. And so you wouldn't send an invitation, but a lot of people just aren't very good at like clicking around the internet and figuring things out. And so all these invitations were going out. unsolicited invitations. And then what LinkedIn was doing is now they have your email and they're soliciting you even more. And that was, you know, it was improper. You didn't you didn't opt into that communication. So they got sued and you could get something like $3 if you wanted it. So I don't recommend clicking anything here. If they're not on LinkedIn, we're not going to bother them to join LinkedIn. If they decide to join later, we'll connect with them then. So at this point, we're just going to hit skip and then we're done. Now you can connect through an Outlook email. You can connect through a Gmail, all different kinds of options. And this is an incredibly fast way to add connections to your network if you want to do that quickly. Like I said, there is the other option of finding somebody manually. And there are some things I want to point out. So Kathy just sent me an invitation, right? And what Kathy did is she sent a note because I asked you to. I said, hey, send me a note, right? Send me a note because I want to make sure that I'm not just getting spammed. Oop, went too far back. All right. So here her note says, there we go. Come on, invitations. Oh, she didn't send me a note. Uh-oh, but Kurt did. Thanks for answering my question in your SDA workshop. So I know how I know. Now, Stacy or Kathy might actually be in this workshop, but we're going to pretend she's not. So Kathy found me and she's added me as a network or added me as a connection, right? And so right now I can either ignore or accept. And what I've been sort of teasing this whole time is how I approach this. When I get a connection from somebody that I can't immediately place as somebody I know in the real world, what I do is I message them back and I hit remind me, Kathy, how do we know each other? My barrier of entry to becoming a connection to me on LinkedIn is that you answer this question truthfully. That's it. If you tell me we don't know each other, I'm just looking to grow my network, I'm probably going to add you. If you tell me that, hey, we might know each other, I know a lot of people, blah, 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 I might add you then. What has happened to me in the past is people name drop. I've actually had a dude say, I know lots of people from this to this to this. You should add me. Well, you're not getting added. That's not cool. And that's not how I grow my network. I just had one recently from Joseph. Joseph, I said to Joseph, remind me, Joseph, how do we know each other? And he says, I'm Joseph McKeith. I work in the financial sector, especially with cryptocurrencies. Do you know about cryptocurrencies? I said, I know a bit about cryptocurrency. Yes. He says, I have an investment proposal I feel will interest you. Guess who's not in my network? He's selling me. That's not what I'm using this for. I don't want to be sold. So if you are finding yourself, you're watching this and you're in a business development role, just know that people don't like that. Now, you might legitimately be trying to grow your network to generate new business, but that's not how we're going to use this tool. You're not just going to go out there and add a bunch of people and then tell them, basically what he's telling me is I'm cold calling. I'm cold calling you right now, and are you interested? It's throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and seeing what's going to stick, and we're not going to do that. So what we will do is we'll find somebody that we know, and I'm just going to put in Bob Smith because I guarantee there's a bunch of them. And I will find one that I don't know. Now, a couple things I want to point out here too. This search is incredibly robust, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit in my agenda, but that's okay because you didn't see it. When you search on LinkedIn, you can search by default, it's just going to search by what you put in. So my keywords were Bob Smith. But here, I can actually use this tool here to narrow my search. So I did people, right? So now it's going to show me 42,000 results for people. I could change this to be jobs or companies or schools or groups. So you can search even companies through this using just keywords. So that's the first thing. I can also narrow the location. If I'm looking for a Bob Smith, but I want him to be in the United States, I can change that. If I want him to be in Spokane, I could even add that. So now I will apply. How many Bob Smiths are in Spokane? 64. That's an incredible number. So pretty common name. So really robust search tool. Again, if you're in business development, this is a very tempting tool to use, and I encourage you to use it, but use it responsibly and be careful how you approach people. So here, I don't know any of these people. And the other thing I wanted to point out is LinkedIn's telling me that I might actually know them, or I might be connected to somebody that knows them. So if you saw a first here, that means that there's somebody you're directly connected to. So they're already in your network. If you see a second, that means that you have somebody in your network that's connected to them. So I know Lars Gilbert, and I actually know Lars Gilbert's in person and professionally. So what I could do, I have a couple options now when I send this invitation. I could just hit the connect button and that'd be fine. Or I could reach out to Lars right here and say, hey, Lars, I'm interested in meeting Bob Smith. I think we could do business together. I think we'd be a really great fit. I'd love to be introduced to Bob. Would you be willing to introduce me? You could even pick up the phone and just call Lars and say, hey, Lars, would you mind emailing me an intro to Bob Smith? Or would you mind connecting me? I would love to get to know him. I think we could work together. So that makes it a more authentic way to add somebody to your network. If you decide to just click connect though, this is the part that you cannot skip on. No offense, Kathy. So I'm going to add a note and I'm going to be descriptive. Bob, we don't know each other, but I'd like to connect with you. And here's why I would like to connect with you. Don't wait for Bob to respond to you to tell him you know cryptocurrency and you just want to send him a proposal. Like, that's dumb. Tell him now, hey, Bob, we don't know each other. I'm into cryptocurrency. Would you be interested in learning more? At least you're being upfront and transparent. But if you're in business development and you're legitimately trying to grow your community and your network and your sphere of influence, then be transparent. Bob, we don't know each other. I work for XYZ firm. I'm in business development. I'm not necessarily looking to sell you on anything, but I am looking to grow my community and connect with like-minded professionals. Boom, send it on its way. If Bob's like me, he's going to accept that request, right? Probably more likely to accept it than just a straight up cold call, or more likely to stay connected to you than when you drop the other shoe and tell him, hey, you're just trying to sell him, right? Judy said, just got a comment about having your head shut. I've gotten requests from guys saying things like, I saw your lovely photo and would like to get to know you better. Yeah, Judy, I would respond and say, this is not a dating site. And I would move on with life. Ignore. Yeah, that's tacky. That's not how it should go. Okay. So send your message and you're going to connect with Bob, right? Are we clear on that? That's how we're going to connect with people. If you're using this for business development, the other thing that you could do is you could search for specific companies and then you could follow them. So this is just like connecting with a business on any other social media platform. So you could get here, and I'm already following them. So you'll see here it says following. I got to get my messages reduced. There we go. So you'll see here it says, 43 employees. Now see, this is the other thing. They've got 43 employees that have connected with them on LinkedIn, right? If this is not a company profile that's claimed, when you click on a link for that company, all it's going to do is just take you to the people that work there. So it's not as good a marketing representation as actually claiming the company page. So I can follow this company. And then again, if I'm using this for business development, I could start commenting on this stuff and start getting to build some familiarity, right? I can start putting my name out there, commenting, sharing, clicking like, doing all those things, and eventually trying to build relationship. The other thing I could do is click on the people that work here and maybe try to see if there's somebody there that I know, or see if there's somebody that we have a shared connection with that I can get an introduction, right? So it's just like any other thing that you learn in sales or business development. We're not just going to go and we're going to cold call. We're going to try to warm up that call, right? And the same thing can happen on LinkedIn. All right. So connecting, adding connections is a really powerful way to use this. Connecting with companies, again, another strong tool for you to use. The search tool is also helpful for you HR professionals or anybody searching for a job. You can actually search by job title. So you could say something like architect, hit search. And what I will do now is I will hit people. And now there are 4 million results on LinkedIn of people with the word architect in their profile. So now what I could do is I could say, you know what? I'm only interested in people that I'm connected to through a second. And then I'm only interested in people that are in the United States. And now I'm down to 13,000 results. But these are people that have architect in their profile. And I could start connecting with these people even just on a professional basis. Kurt asked another question. What are your thoughts on using pre-filled comments? Good luck with that. Congratulations on your promotion. I mean, if you're in a hurry, I think it's fine. I do that with happy birthday all the time. If you're a business development person or you're really interested in building strong relationships, then you're going to personalize that message every time. So there's my answer to that. Great question. So really powerful search function on this, whether you're an HR professional or a job seeker or even business development. You can use this a variety of ways to search out companies and people. You can find people that might be looking for a job. You can find people that might be currently employed and you're looking to connect with them. All kinds of opportunities there. Here are some people that work at BWA and I could connect with them. They should all know who I am, so I'm not adding a note. So hopefully they do that. Hey, yeah, I know this guy. So we'll do that. Okay. Let me review my notes real quick. I've been moving at just such a hurry. It's a blur. I got to cross off what I've talked about here. Okay. If you work for a company and you're interested in being a part of their marketing team, even if that's not your official role, there's a couple things I want to point out to you. The large Fortune 500 companies that are marketing in a really positive way and are doing things that are working for them. And what I mean by that are the companies that understand marketing as a core function of their company and understand its strengths are doing things different than other companies. And in fact, a few years ago, the Harvard Business Review magazine did a survey of Fortune 500 companies and they categorized them into two buckets. They put the companies that are growing in whether it was revenue or market share or whatever, and then the companies that weren't, so performing and underperforming. And what they found, the differences were the companies that were doing well versus the companies that weren't. The companies that were doing well were training every member of their team on their role in marketing and business development. So the example they gave was Coca-Cola. Even if you work on a factory floor or you work on the line, you understand your role in marketing and business development in the company big picture, right? So what they do is they tell you things like, don't knock Coca-Cola on social media. Don't talk badly about the brand. Be an advocate of the company. Speak well about the company, right? They do a full training in addition to training you on your job. They train you what your role is on marketing and business development for the company. And so even if you are not in marketing or business development, you can still play a valuable role in marketing for your business. And here's how. When your business posts and it runs an update out there, you can, so let's pretend I work for measurement. Here's one of the ways that I can be a team player and be a part of the marketing team. I can just hit like. Right? LinkedIn works like a lot of other social media platforms. The more engagement a post gets, the more likely it is to be seen by other people. So at a minimum, I could hit like, or I could celebrate or love it, or say it is insightful or curious. So I'll hit like. That's a bare minimum. That's the easiest one. Click like when your company posts. If you're not seeing your company's posts yet in your newsfeed, one thing you want to do is just head to the company profile. And then right here, you'll be able to, I want to hit view as a member. Right here, you'll be able to see their recent posts. And from there, you could, so right down here, you can see recent posts. Right here, I could just go in and click like, right? So you can either head right to the page for your business or you can wait for it to show up in your newsfeed. So back to measurement, if I work for them, I can click like. The next best thing, and there is a hierarchy of engagement, so like being the minimum. The next one is comment. I can comment on that post and say, way to go, good job. I love working here. This was a fun project. The next one, which is even better, is to share it. So now you're taking their post, just like on any other platform, and you're sharing it to your network. And your network may not be following your company, and it's probably a good bet they aren't. So by sharing it, you can get that post in front of more people. Just so you know, Gretchen and Bernardo Wills, they walk this talk. We train their whole team on this entire concept because it's so valuable. Here's the trick. When you go to share a post for your company, make sure you add your own thoughts. Write something. Otherwise, it's just going out there as a share and people aren't really sure why you're sharing it. So add your own thoughts to that share and then just double check your settings here and make sure it's going out to everyone. Right? So share it, add your own thoughts, boom, now you're a team player in marketing. You're getting that post out in front of more people and you're being awesome to the company you work for, right? All right, any questions? I know I've been it's like a fire hose today. You're just drinking from a fire hose today. Any questions on that? Okay. I got a question after doing these trainings once about cleaning up your connections. And the question was about, hey, maybe I've changed careers, maybe I've changed jobs. I've been on LinkedIn for 10 years or however long it's been. Should I ever go back and clean up contacts? And I make the argument that no, you probably don't need to worry about that. But there is an asterisk by that. And that is, if you feel it's important from a safety, security, just any kind of reason that falls into that bucket where maybe staying connected to somebody isn't in your best interest or in your company's best interest, feel free to remove that person. And it's pretty easy. Just navigate to who that person is. Oh, I'm not actually connected to these people. So just navigate to who that person is. And then from here, you can remove the connection. So that's okay. Something to think about. I wouldn't be overly concerned about that, but as you're growing your network and adding all these connections, you might hit that thought every once in a while, hey, should I remove the people that maybe aren't relevant? And the thing is, and I always say this, like for the longest time when I ran my business, my mom didn't know what I did. And she would tell people, she goes, I don't know, he owns his own business. I don't know what he does. That is on me. And that's the mistake, believing that my mom doesn't know people who might own their own business or need marketing help. She can't be an advocate for me if she doesn't know what I do. She probably thought I was like laundering money for the mob or something, but that's on me. So the same thing applies to our network. Just because somebody that you connected with 10 years ago may not be a relevant contact today doesn't mean that they don't bring value. Doesn't mean that that relationship doesn't hold value anymore. So don't stress out about that kind of thing too much. We've got a question. Since we are all SDA members, is there a way to use that network tool to connect with people who might be potential members? Absolutely. SDA could investigate creating a group, which isn't in my notes as something to talk about today. It might be something we come back to, but groups operate very similar to the way they work on Facebook. They're a way for people to connect with a large group of people and have ongoing conversations with that group. So it's something you could totally consider doing. And I would encourage SDA to look into doing that. It means it's a place to share ideas. It's a place to connect with other people from across the country. The other thing is, it's a really cool opportunity to troubleshoot and to get access to some groupthink, which can be really helpful. So absolutely. I highly encourage you as a professional to make sure that you are connecting with people that you work with in the real world, any of your partners, any people that matter to you. Connect with those folks, but also connect with those businesses in LinkedIn as well. Following businesses is like a virtual thumbs up and a high five to that business. It's also, like I said earlier, it's a really great way to be a partner with that company by sharing their content and commenting and liking on stuff. So thinking about it from that perspective can add a lot of value to your relationship with that firm and that business. Oh, I thought another question came in, but it didn't. Okay. Here's the other thing. You should be posting your own content. So there is some content that you should be posting for you, and just adding your expertise out into the world. And the way you do that is when you log in, you default to this screen here, and you can write a post. So you can share a post, you can write content, you can share a link if you want. Links work. Advanced user tip when you share a link. So let's just grab a link real quick. I'll grab one from my own blog. Once the link pulls up, and you'll see here, it's thinking about it, it's thinking about it. Once the link pulls the information, feel free to delete the link out. Advanced user tip. Write your content. And then don't forget to add the hashtags. Hashtags on this are a great way to reach other people. Quick rundown on what hashtags are. If you see a hashtag, you can click on it and it will take you to every post on LinkedIn with that same hashtag in it. So it's a way to connect with lots of other people. So it's a really good tool. The other thing to consider doing is to follow hashtags that are relevant to your industry. So if I search a hashtag up here, so I told you this is a really robust search tool. So if I search architect up here, it will show me the top results. Right here it is. 48,000 people follow the hashtag architect. So what that means is when I'm here, any hashtag I'm following, any post with that hashtag will also show up in my newsfeed, right? So using hashtags, not just for yourself, but for your company, is a really powerful tool to reach more people that may not know who you are, who your company is, or anything like that. You can upload photos. Massive caveat here. When you upload photos, their photo tool in this section for writing a post, not robust at all whatsoever. You cannot edit photos. And if you upload photos, you can't even reorder what order they come in. And as far as I can tell, you can't specifically get them to fall in a different order by clicking on different pictures first. The other thing is, I'll show you this right now. Once you upload a photo, let's see if I can, oh, that's my daughter. Let's see if I can't find, oh, there's a baby. I thought I had a headshot in here, but, oh, there we go. Nope, just kidding. There we go. If I wanted to upload this picture of myself, oh, I wanted to add more pictures. There's nowhere to add more pictures. So you can add up to 9 pictures on LinkedIn, but once you add a photo, you can't add more. So just make sure you're selecting all the photos you want to add in that thing, and then just know they're just going to get in there, whatever order they get in there, and you're not going to be able to change stuff. You can edit all you can do is add alternate text to a photo. You can't edit it in any other way. Or you can tag people in the photo, and that's it. Like, that's all they give you. So it's kind of limited on that. The other thing that they do have is also the ability to upload video. I haven't quite sorted out the secret sauce. I'm sure you could Google it, but they do allow pretty long videos. I've uploaded videos that are almost an hour long. So video is a really powerful one. This one's way different than other social media platforms. You can actually upload files like PDFs to this. So that's cool. That's a different function. And that comes back to that sort of business to business aspect of this. And then the other thing you can do, and this is if you're interested in growing yourself as an expert on this platform, you can write an article, which is essentially, it's LinkedIn's blogging platform. So you can add a photo here to the top, this cover photo. You can actually add, you can see here I have pretty robust editing function. I can add bold, I can make it italicized, I can add bullet points, I can add links. You can even add other images in here to the thing. So you can pretty much add really robust content to LinkedIn, and it's called an article. I'll show you what one looks like when it's published. So if I go to my activity, I can get to the articles I've written. And here's one of the articles, and this was featuring Gretchen and Emily. And here you can see the picture I uploaded. You can see the content, and then the video. I was actually even able to embed a video into this. So there you go. Another question came in. Oh, this was just a comment. I like that you have Grammarly. Grammarly is invaluable. I use it all the time. Now, I've had a lot of people who are way smarter than me with the English language and grammar say that it's not perfect, and that I think is true of any spell check tool, but I think it's better than my skills natively. So I use it all the time. Can you explain company page versus group page? Absolutely. So it wasn't in my notes to get to this because just not knowing how much time we were going to have, and how much time do we get? Oh, we got time. We're going to dig into company pages. I'm so glad this came up. Okay, so you should be completely dialed in to have a pretty rockin' personal profile. You should be dialed in on how to add contacts, how to use it for business development, how to use it for HR, to recruit. Even if you wanted to apply for jobs, you've got that here. You can apply for jobs, you can search for jobs, you can even post a job from here if you wanted to. So really robust tool we didn't talk about yet, but we've talked a little bit about it. So from adding to your network, having a really good profile, connecting to the right company, and then becoming a big team player by supporting your company page, those are all really cool. The difference between a company page and a group, the company page is the actual page and profile for your business on LinkedIn. So this is mine, this is Tinderbox. And you can see it looks pretty similar to a personal page. I've got a cover photo here. It's a little thinner and a lot longer. I've got my profile picture here. So if you're responsible for this for your company, here are my pro tips. This is your company logo. And this is some picture of what doing business with you looks like. And I'll tell you right now, consulting and what I do looks a lot like what you're seeing now, me sitting at a laptop. So I don't have a picture of that there. I go for something more brand style. You also get a headline, and they call it a tagline in this section, where you can customize it, and you should. you get a crazy big about section. So my tip in this, if you're responsible for this part for your company, is fill this all out. You get a huge section to write your about. You get to add your website, a phone number, your industry, your company size. You get to add where you're located, when you were founded, what specialties you have. You can add your physical location, right? And here's the kicker. You can post to this. So when you're operating a company page for your company, this is what it looks like for you as an admin. And then down here, you can write a post that goes out for the company. This is what we're talking about when you share your company post. You can do the same thing. It works exactly like I showed you your personal page works and how your personal page works. The biggest difference is you do not get articles for a company page. So that blogging functionality that we just talked about, that only exists for a personal profile. That does not exist for a company page, but you should be posting to your company page if you have one. This is outward marketing. So right here, you can see I have 96 followers, but Bernardo Wills, they're pushing 400, and it grows faster than their Facebook page. So it is a huge piece of our marketing program and our objectives. So we use it as a part of our strategy. We post to it. They're constantly active on it. Like I said, we've trained their team on how to be a part of that and what role they play in that, as well as how to have a rockin' personal profile. So your company page, once you add yourself as an employee here under your profile, once you add yourself, you're now automatically connected to it, and that's all you have to do. A group is different. Groups are something that you have to join. So I believe I am a member of some groups, and they might be, well, they've kind of moved things around. So let's do, I'll just search for a group. So a group is a bucket of people that share a common interest of some sort that are in a different section of LinkedIn, right? So here is the digital marketing group. So if I click on this, you'll see here the group has a little profile picture, and it has a cover photo, and there's a request to join. So I have to request to join this group. There are 58 connections in this group. That's sort of weird. You would think digital marketing would be, oh no, sorry. It's got 1.4 million members. I'm connected to 58 of those people. And then you can see here some member highlights. So a group is just a place that you join to have conversations with like-minded people. So groups are a different organization, but it's basically a separate bucket of users on LinkedIn, all based around some sort of central topic to have conversations and discussions related to that specific topic. So if we put in business development, I'm sure we'd find business development groups that we could join. So here's one with 353,000 members. The missing link between marketing and sales, we could request to join this. I know 11 people in this group. Here it gives you a discussion of this group, which include the rules. There are some, or a description, sorry, of this group, which also includes the rules. And in this one, they actually approve your post before it goes out to the group. And the way that you would utilize this, and Carrie asked this question, the way you would utilize this is to continue to grow your network and your knowledge in a specific area. So, and the other way would be to just, by growing your network, would be to network with other people and potentially find other opportunities for doing business, right? So this one, it says, content must be sales, marketing, or business development related here. No rules, no glory. Group will be deleted. Jobs and related other promotions. So they do not want you posting jobs in this group. They do not want you posting promotional content in this group. They do not want discussions with URLs to commercial websites or guides or webinars or surveys or blogs or landing pages or register to like. Right? And they will pull you out of that group if you violate that. No offensive language. You can announce a webinar, but you need to contact the group owner for a prior approval. So they're really more just discussion groups, right? They're really built around having a conversation with people with a shared interest in the same, business you're in, with the same, wanting to grow in the same area. So if you're interested in getting into marketing, or you want to learn more about the business development or sales, they're not places to promote a product or a service or a business or a job listing, right? So they really try to maintain the integrity of groups for the most part, which is why a lot of them you have to request to join. I would have to poke around to find out where, oh, here we go. So under the work tab here, and then you can click groups, you can actually get to what groups you're in. So I'm in the Spokane entrepreneurs group. So let's take a look at what happens in that group. And you can see here, I can actually post a conversation directly to this group. I can add a picture, I can add a video, I can upload a PDF, and people do use it, but it looks like not a lot. So a couple posts every week or so. So not a huge group. I'm not very active in it. And then it looks like people are promoting their own stuff in there. So probably why I'm not very active in that group. I know people that love groups and swear by them. I know people that are more like me. They're slightly indifferent to groups, but that is the difference between a group and a company page. A group is more about a discussion, a topic, a business category, whatever. A company page is specific to a company. So you would never really have a group specific to a company. I mean, you could do that. I'm not sure you would. So let's see if Apple, oh, I don't want to search in the group. I want to search here. Let's see. Yeah, there's Apple Fans is a group. There's Apple the company. So Apple Fans is a group, but it doesn't look like Apple is actively managing their own, any kind of group beyond that. Somebody asked, is it better to write your article on LinkedIn or link to the one on your website, or both? Oh, Chris, you just made me a very happy person. Both. If you write a blog, repurpose that thing. So I always post the blog on my website, and then I share a link to that through my LinkedIn. I wait a week or two, and then I use it again as an article on LinkedIn. Because here's the thing, I have 1,000 people that are connected to me on LinkedIn, and the odds of all 1,000 people seeing each and every post I do is slim. So by repurposing that content and using it more than once, I get to maximize the effort that I put into that, right? So like, it takes time to write a blog, it takes effort. So if I just post it once and then just send it out, like, I'm not really taking full advantage of that. So by posting it once as a post and then going back and using it as an article, I get to maximize the value of that. So I'm a big fan of doing that. So great question. And then somebody says SDA chapters should have both a company page and a group. And that would be that's an accurate statement. Absolutely. All right. One question that comes up during this is how much posting is too much. And I would say if you're posting, maybe more than once a day, that might be too much. And a post is different than commenting or liking. Do that all you want. But a really healthy content strategy for you or your business or your company is 3 to 5 times a week, right? So you want to look at 3 to 5 times a week. So we've dug into now a lot about your personal page. I do want to go back to the company page and revisit some of the things here just a little bit more slowly. When it comes to making edits to your profile, here you get to update your cover photo, and here's where you get to update your content behind it, right? So here, page logo, the name of your page, your tagline. You can add buttons to it. So you can add a custom button, and I added, and here are your options. You can do contact us, learn more, register, sign up, visit website. I did visit website, and I added in my website, and you can see how it looks here. You get an overview. You get 2,000 words. Try to use as many of those words as you can when it comes to writing your description, and then fill in all this information. You can add your locations, and then hashtags is where you can add brand specific or company specific hashtags if you want. And then you can even decide to add feature groups that your page wants to feature. I haven't chosen to do that. So those are some things to do. When you post to your company page, like I said, it's right here. And then the other thing that you get with a company page that you don't get with a personal page is access to analytics. So you can actually look at how many people saw your content. So you can see here, I haven't really posted, I'm my own worst customer all the time. I haven't posted in the last few weeks. So I haven't seen the results of that. Or I mean, I am seeing the results of that. So from the 30th through the 14th, you can see my numbers are going down, and that's impressions. Those are the eyeballs on my content. When it comes to clicks, they've dropped off a cliff. right? And so the basic rule of thumb when it comes to posting is the more you post, the more impressions and engagement you'll get. Keep in mind, stick to that 3 to 5 times a week, right? So if you were posting once a day, Monday through Friday, that's a really good content strategy, and I wouldn't consider going much beyond that. Do you follow any kind of rule for creating your own content versus sharing? When you share, it does tend to count like a regular post. So if you were going to share a post today, I would consider maybe not writing your own content today. So I would do only one a day, whether it's a share or a post. And then when it comes to the rule, I don't know. I mean, 80-20 sounds good. I haven't seen anything in terms of formal research that I would consider to drive that decision. But if you were creating 80% of your own content and then sharing 20%, that would be fine. But here's the thing, if you've never posted on your own and you're not really sure and you just want to get your feet wet, share other people's posts as a way to get started. That's completely fine. Share your company's posts as a way to get started and then ease in your own content. Sarah, oh, you're welcome, Sarah. No worries, you can catch up. Yeah, absolutely, when the video is posted. Great. I did want to mention ProFinder, and then I will leave the rest of the time open for questions. This is a tool that you would use if you are in active business development, if you are, say, an active owner or principal or partner in a company. ProFinder is a way that you can make your personal page available for job requests, and not like you applying for a job, but like contractor requests. So people are looking to have an expert in something and they need help, and they're going to LinkedIn to find that person. So ProFinder is the way you do that. So here you can see, I can search for something here and I can find graphic designers. When it comes to the projects you work on, those are found here. I don't have anything, right? These are the requests that have come in. So now that I'm signed up for this, if somebody fills out a request for an expert and I fall into the parameters of that request, I will get an alert that there's a new job opportunity for me or a new ProFinder opportunity. So this one here, this one came from Creative Thinking. And I didn't apply for this, but we connected and I actually ended up pitching her, but she was looking for something a little bit different than what I was offering. So it didn't work out the way I was thinking, but it was a good connection. So I can actually view the request here. So I applied for this, right? So I actually did apply for this one. I didn't realize I did that. And so you can, I want to go to one that I haven't filled out. So here is one. Nope, I did, let's see. Oh, here we go, project request. So it doesn't show me who this person came from, and that's a privacy setting, but it does show me what she's looking for. So she was looking for social media marketing. She's down in Clarkston. She posted this a year ago. She got 3 proposals. Excuse me. She was looking for help on Twitter and Facebook. She wanted to drive purchases on her website. And then it says, check any of the areas that you also need help with. She said, I'm not sure. Are you a business or an individual? What is the scope? When do you need help with this project? What would you like? How would you like to work with the person? And she said virtually. So it gives you a lot of information. And then this is one I believe I also filled out for. You can respond to the request. So it's not automatic in the sense that you just automatically apply for it. There is a little bit of work that needs to be done, but this is a pretty cool business development tool that LinkedIn has made available. And what I like about this is that it takes away that tackiness and ickiness of just doing cold calling and business development. So instead of doing that as an outbound sales tactic, you could, if you're doing business development, you could sign up for ProFinder and just make yourself available and then respond to requests that come in. So you can see here, these proposals were viewed, and then this one was actively declined. So that's fun. The most recent one that I've been in the network for is this one. It was 23 days ago. And then this one. So you can see they're not terribly often for the industry I'm in. And you might find you get yours more often. So you will want to consider the frequency of this, but this is low-hanging fruit. These are people who are actively looking for help in the arena that I'm an expert in, and I can decide if I want to apply for it or not. You do get a profile here, and it does pull from your LinkedIn profile, so it makes that pretty cool. And then you have to turn it on. And then the other thing that it gives you is this badge option here, where you can add this to your website. And if you go to my homepage, I've actually added that to the homepage of my website. So here's my ProFinder thing. So this is a way to turn your profile into a more active business development tool, and then also add a little bit more to your website if you wanted to. All right, so that was the last thing that I had on my agenda. Are there any other questions? Anything that we want to talk about?
Is ProFinder a paid thing?
Is ProFinder a paid thing? Nope, I don't pay for LinkedIn. It's free to use. Absolutely. I'm patient. I will be quiet for an awkward amount of time and let you formulate your questions.
Thanks for sending it to me. I completely forgot.
All right, Gretchen just mentioned that she doesn't have my contact slide. So you all have my LinkedIn account information, but I'll also, in the chat tool, I'll give you my email address. And without this sounding like a shameless plug for my business, you are absolutely welcome at any time to reach out for a free marketing review. This is 100% no strings attached. So if you just want to know how well your company is doing at marketing and all of that stuff, you can fill this out. It's a questionnaire. It takes just a few moments to fill it out. I'm happy to do it by Zoom, so you can get one of these done wherever you are located in the country and whatever time zone. It's pretty painless for you to do. Might be painful to hear the feedback, but there's no strings attached, and it's all free. It's just a way that I use to grow my business. Here's a question that came in. Did you respond to Kurt's comment of canned responses? I did. And Judy, what I said was, if you are seeing a lot of those because you have a huge network, so especially a lot of people, a lot of congratulate somebody on a new job or say happy birthday. I always just use the default happy birthday one. If you're seeing a lot of those requests come in and you're just busy, it's better than nothing to use the canned response. But if you're actively using this to develop strong relationships and or in active business development, I would encourage you to customize that and be a little bit more personalized. Any security issues you can recommend? I was recently hacked, had to provide my ID and set up two-factor authentication. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. I have two-factor set up on my LinkedIn and almost every other account that I log into. I think two-factor is a default. I think you have to have it. I think that's easy to do and it's easy to protect yourself. Another thing is, don't use the same password for everything. That's silly. So don't do that. And then to get completely off on another tangent, when it comes to your passwords, I think you need to store your passwords in a safe place. I don't even mind if you have to write them in like a little notebook to keep them, but what you don't want to do, if you're writing them down in the real world, so I was doing this workshop in a region south of us called the Bluish, and it's a great area, a lot of cool communities. And I was doing a workshop series through the library district down there. It was awesome. And I was doing it on technology tips. And one of the things I was talking about was passwords. So this came up, and I can actually stop sharing my screen if you want to. You can watch my face and watch me talk with my hands. So I was doing this workshop series, and I was talking about passwords, and this person in that, she's just laughing the whole time. And I'm talking about, write them down, keep them secure, be safe. And I said, okay, I got to ask you, why are you laughing? She says, my mom has her computer desk set up and it's in her house. She's got her computer. It's a desktop computer. It's really cute. The desk's all really organized, and she's got this shelf of books right next to it. And if you scroll through, there's this 3-ring binder, and down the side of the 3-ring binder, it says passwords. So if somebody breaks into her house and steals her computer, not only now do they have her computer, but now they have access to everything that she has. So don't do that. When it comes to safety and security, one of the things that I advocate heavily is using a password tool. And I'm a big believer in using a third-party tool. And what I mean by that is, if you're using Google Chrome as your browser, or even Safari, if you're a Mac user, don't use those programs to save your passwords. And the reason is sometimes you might not be logged in. So if you're using Google Chrome, but you didn't log in to your Google account, that password's only being stored on your local device. And if that device falls into a puddle or burns or whatever, you lose all those passwords because they were stored locally. So I think that you should store your passwords in some sort of vault in the cloud, but make sure that that is stored on a device that's not yours, right? So I prefer a tool called 1Password, and I'll put the name of that in the chat. There is another one called LastPass, and those are both really well-known, well-used, and highly secure password tools. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I started my business, I didn't use a password tool. I used a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. And what I did is I stored that in Dropbox. And then if you Google this, it's crazy easy. All I did was I encrypted the spreadsheet. And all you do is you create a password for the spreadsheet. It's crazy easy to do. And then that spreadsheet requires a password. And so what I would do is just save all my passwords there. And then I would create unique passwords. And then I would just need to remember the 1Password for that spreadsheet. That's exactly how LastPass and 1Password work. They auto-generate passwords for you anytime you need it. And then you just have to remember the master password for that program. And then it'll autofill. It's what I use to access LinkedIn at the very beginning of this. You'll see that pop up. And my Mac, I have one of the newer MacBooks. I just have to use my fingerprint now. So if I ended up not being a living member of this world anymore and somebody had my computer and me, they could still access my stuff with my finger. So there's a flaw in my armor, but that's about it, is my fingerprint. So I guess somebody could hold me hostage and then, put my finger on my laptop. And that's a lot of effort to get access to my stuff. So let's just say that. So yeah, when it comes to just general security beyond password, which I did take a huge tangent on that, turn on 2-factor authentication on anything you can by all means, and then don't use the same password. The other thing is, I'm a big advocate for clicking around. When it comes to using a platform like LinkedIn, they can be overwhelming. Clicking around is a way to get familiar with what's going on and a way to navigate and learn the space. And I always tell people that you're not going to break the internet by clicking around. All that said, do not click on anything ever that looks suspicious or not real or fake or that you have a second guess about. So just don't click on sketchy things, especially when they come through email. The other thing is, I will share my screen one more time. Anytime you go to log in to any platform, make sure you see this lock here or you see the HTTPS. The S literally stands for secure. And that means I know I am on the LinkedIn secure site. Unfortunately, what happens to people like the user who said that they were hacked, what happens is they're logging into a platform and they think they're actually logging into Facebook or their email or LinkedIn. But what's happened is they've somehow managed to get themselves onto a third-party site that looks exactly like LinkedIn, but it's a fake site. And then you log in, what you're really doing is you're giving them your credentials. And then they're smart enough, they still send you to log into LinkedIn or Facebook. So here you think you've done nothing wrong, but you've actually logged into their site and given them access. And you know what? This happened to Silverwood in our neck of the woods a few years ago. So Silverwood Theme Park is a theme park in North Idaho, and it made the local news. What happened was one of the people working there who had access to the company Facebook page logged into their account, got hacked, and then the hacker went into the Silverwood Theme Park company page, moved all the other admins off, deleted all the other admins, and then started posting this really horrible content. They had like 500,000 likes, and all of a sudden they were getting adult content posted on this family-friendly theme park page. It was awful, made the news and everything. So be sure to do that. I had another question come in the last few minutes. I'm confused on how the company part works in LinkedIn. Do you develop it just by, that's a great question. Okay, so if you see in your work history, right? So if you go to your profile and the company that you currently work for has this going on, this generic thing, here's how you claim it. Click on your me here, scroll down to where it says, just kidding. Go click on work and then click on right down here. It's going to say create a company page. I just had to click on the right thing. So if you want to claim your company page, click on work and then click on create company page, and then it will bring you here, and it's going to ask you some questions. Eventually it will ask you to verify that you have permission to create the company page. It's not difficult, but you should be able to walk through it and get it set up. So this is how you would set it up. Now, if 40 employees at your company have all connected to a not real company page, and then you go back and create the company page, that doesn't automatically update all their profiles. You're going to have to send a memo out to your team, an email, whatever, to let them know that you've now created the actual company page and they need to go and connect themselves to the proper page. I hope that makes sense. All right, a few more moments here. Feel free to ask your questions. I'm going to accept some requests here while I'm waiting for questions to come in. A lot of thank yous. You're so welcome. I love doing this stuff. This is great. I love being hands-on and teaching people stuff directly. I think it's so much more effective. Just know in a year from now, some of this content may not age well. So we never know what changes LinkedIn has in store for us. But for right now, for the short term, this should all be really valuable content. Anybody? We've got time. Thank you for the positive comments. I appreciate that. Well, if that's the case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to surrender control back to Gretchen and let her wrap this thing up.
One more question from Kurt and Karen. I use LinkedIn.
Oh, did that, I missed that one?
It just came in, yeah.
Okay. What was the, I don't.
There was one more question from Kurt and Karen on thoughts on using LinkedIn on your phone.
I think LinkedIn on the phone is actually one of the better apps. The LinkedIn phone app is pretty cool. And for a long time, it actually looked better than the website itself. So I love using it. I will tell you this right now, since COVID happened, I logged out of all social media on my phone. So I'm not an active, and which is weird because I'm a marketing person. But because of my job, I'm on social media all day long to start. So I don't sign in anything on my phone, but I don't have any problem using LinkedIn on your phone. You might find it's a little tricky to manage a company page with your phone, but other than that, I think it's a great tool.